like this. Yo, that shot me. That shot me. La 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 is a rat.
I'm seeing me on caffeine. I'm doing with Squibby called skirt. Y'all folks tell me come get it.
We are learning that Offset has been shot.
A man who survived 7 bullets once told the world he was untouchable. On Monday night, someone tested that theory. And this time, it wasn't his blood on the ground. Before you think you already know this story, stop. Because the version the internet is giving you is missing 3 things. A phone recording that changes everything. A legal detail so small that almost every outlet buried it. And a connection to one of the most painful losses hip-hop has ever suffered. This is not a gossip story. This is a story about money, pride, betrayal, and what happens when 2 men let a debt fester for over a year, until it explodes outside one of the most famous casinos in America. Stay with me for every single second of this video, because the part that changes everything comes near the end. Let's go. Monday, April 6th, 2026, 7 p.m. Hollywood, Florida. Not Hollywood, California, where the cameras are. Hollywood, Florida, where the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino sits like a crown jewel on the South Florida landscape. 12 stories, guitar-shaped, neon-lit, luxury cars lined up at the valet like a car show that never ends. Celebrities walking through those doors like it's nothing. High rollers, big money, big names. This is where ballers come to play. This is where, on the evening of April 6th, 2026, 2 of hip-hop's most recognizable names were both inside. Offset and Lil Tjay. Were they there together? Was this a coincidence? Was this planned? That is one of the very first questions law enforcement is still trying to answer. What we know is this. Just after 7 p.m., something happened in that valet area. Something that sent shockwaves through the entire music industry before midnight. A fight broke out. It escalated. A gun appeared. And when the smoke cleared, one man was on a stretcher headed to Memorial Regional Hospital. That man was Offset. The hip-hop world stopped cold. Kiari Kendrell Cephas. Born and raised in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Before the solo career. Before the fame. Before Cardi B. Before the magazine covers and the designer clothes and the 23 million social media followers, there was a kid from Gwinnett County, Georgia, who had a dream and a microphone and 2 family members who believed in him. His cousin Takeoff and his uncle Quavo. Together, they became Migos. And Migos didn't just make music. They changed hip-hop. They changed culture. Versace, Bad and Bougie, Motorsport, Walk It Talk It, songs that defined an era, albums that hit #1, a trio that came from nothing and became everything. At their peak, nobody could touch Migos. But then came the moment that broke everything. November 1st, 2022, Houston, Texas. Takeoff, Offset's cousin, his bandmate, his blood, was shot and killed outside a bowling alley. Gunshot wounds to the head. He was 28 years old. Offset stood at that funeral and cried publicly, painfully, in front of the entire world. He didn't hide his grief. He wore it like a scar. Because Takeoff wasn't just a rap partner. Takeoff was family. Takeoff was one of the people who built something impossible alongside him. And now that person was gone. I need you to hold that moment in your mind, because it becomes the most important part of this entire story. Less than 4 years after burying his cousin, Offset is now the one in a hospital bed, shot, because of a beef that started over $10,000. Tioni Jaden Merritt, born April 30th, 2001, the Bronx, New York. Not a silver spoon, not a head start, just a kid from one of the toughest boroughs in America, who turned his pain into platinum. His 2018 single Brothers earned triple platinum certification. His feature on Polo G's Pop Out cracked the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 11. His debut album, True to Myself, hit number 5 on the Billboard 200. His second album, Destined to Win, gave him his biggest moment yet, Calling My Phone with Black, which peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100. Bronx to Billboard. Struggle to stardom. He built every single brick of that career himself. He later left Columbia Records in 2024 and has been releasing music independently. But here is the part of Lil Tjay's story that you cannot skip, because it is the most ironic detail in this entire situation. June 22nd, 2022, the same year Takeoff was murdered. Lil Tjay was shot 7 times during an attempted robbery in Edgewater, New Jersey. He was airlifted to Hackensack University Medical Center. Doctors performed emergency surgery. His team said if he had arrived even a few minutes later, he would not have made it. This man literally cheated death. 7 bullets. And he survived. And now, on April 6, 2026, this same man, this survivor, is the one police believe orchestrated a shooting that put someone else in a hospital. A man who knows exactly what a bullet feels like, allegedly directed one toward another person. Let that sit with you. This did not start on Monday night. This started over a year ago, early 2025. A live stream, and $10,000. Lil Tjay went live, and he said something that lit a fuse that would burn for over a year. Offset broke. He claimed Offset owed him $10,000. He claimed Offset had a gambling addiction. He said it publicly, on the internet, for millions of people to see and screenshot and repost and react to. Now, $10,000 to 2 rappers operating at this level? That is a dinner bill. That is a hotel night. That is pocket change. But that was never really what this was about. When Lil Tjay said Offset broke on that live stream, he didn't just talk about money. He publicly humiliated another man. He aired out private business in front of millions. He weaponized someone's personal struggle and threw it into the internet for the world to judge. In hip-hop, that is not just a comment. That is a declaration of war. And for over a year, that declaration sat unresolved, unaddressed, simmering, both men aware, both carrying it, the tension building slowly, quietly, until the night of April 6, 2026, when it finally exploded outside the valet of the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. A $10,000 debt, a public humiliation, and over a year of unresolved tension. That is what walked into that casino on Monday night. This is the part most outlets are not fully reporting, because the arrest report does not just tell you what happened. It tells you exactly how it was planned. Here is what court records and surveillance footage show, step by step. 7:22 p.m. April 6, 2026. According to the arrest report, Lil Tjay, Tioni Merritt, directed members of his group to start a fight with Offset and the people around him. He didn't just show up and react. He pointed. He directed. He orchestrated. Surveillance cameras captured it all. But here is the detail that stopped everyone cold. While his associates were attacking Offset, Lil Tjay had his phone out, recording. He was not in the fight. He was filming it, on his phone, like a director watching his scene play out. And then, one of the men in his group pulled a firearm and shot Offset. 1 gunshot. 1 man down. Offset, transported to Memorial Regional Hospital with a leg injury. Non-life-threatening. Stable condition. Police arrived, contained the scene immediately. 2 individuals were detained. And within hours, Lil Tjay was booked into Broward County Jail. Here is where it gets legally fascinating. And this is the detail buried so deep that most people completely missed it. Lil Tjay was charged with disorderly conduct, a fray, a first-degree misdemeanor. His bail, $500. $500. For a situation that ended with a man getting shot at a casino. Why so low? Because, technically, Lil Tjay did not pull the trigger. One of his associates did. And under the charges filed that night, he was connected to the fight. Not directly to the firearm. He bonded out Tuesday. He walked outside. And instead of staying quiet, he talked to reporters. "I don't do no damn fightin'," he said, flat out denying any confrontation with Offset. His attorney, Don M. Florio, released a formal statement. Lil Tjay has not been shot, nor has Lil Tjay been charged with any shooting. Any reporting to the contrary is false. But then, online, things escalated further. Rumors spread that Offset had named Lil Tjay as the shooter to police. Lil Tjay fired back publicly, calling Offset a rat. Offset responded directly, making it clear that Lil Tjay did not shoot him and that he never gave a formal statement to police identifying anyone. He also posted 2 words in a comment section that the internet immediately understood. "You ain't bust none." Translation: you didn't shoot anything. You watched. And the real shooter? The person who actually pulled the trigger? Still unidentified. Still uncharged. Still free. Police confirmed. The investigation to identify additional persons involved is still actively ongoing. That gunman is still out there. And law enforcement believes Lil Tjay knows exactly who that person is. I promised you a twist at the beginning of this video. Here it is. In 2021, 1 full year before either of their lives were touched by gun violence separately, Offset and Lil Tjay were in the same studio together. They collaborated. They made music. They shared a creative space. Two men who once created something together. One is now in a hospital bed. The other just walked out of a county jail on a $500 bond. And the man who actually fired the gun has still not been found. How do two people go from a studio session to this? The answer is a live stream, a debt, a year of silence, and a Monday night in Florida that neither of them can take back. I want you to think about Offset for just one moment. Not the rapper, the person. This is a man who stood at his cousin's funeral in 2022 and wept in front of the world, who lost Takeoff, his blood, his brother, his bandmate, to a senseless shooting, who wore that grief publicly, painfully, because there was no other way to carry it. He survived that loss. And now, less than 4 years later, he is in a hospital bed himself, shot, because of a debt that started over $10,000 and a live stream comment. This incident is not just another celebrity headline. It is a reminder, a painful, urgent reminder, that words on the internet carry weight in the real world. That unresolved tension doesn't disappear. It waits, and it finds the worst possible moment to explode. Takeoff did not deserve what happened to him. And regardless of where you stand on Offset or Lil Tjay, nobody deserves to be shot over something that started as a conversation about money. Hip-hop has lost too many funerals, too many hospital rooms, too many stories that end too early. This one, thankfully, did not end that way. But the question that lingers is for how long? The investigation is still active right now. The shooter has not been charged. New information is emerging every single day. And part 2 of this story, which covers what happens next legally, what Offset's next move is, and what this means for Lil Tjay's career and freedom, is already in production. If you are not subscribed, do it right now, because you do not want to come back and find out you missed the part where this entire story flips again. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Lil Tjay's version? Does the arrest report tell the real story? Or is there something deeper going on here that neither side is saying publicly? I read every single comment. I will see you in part 2.